Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome to Dummy Football Podcast with a brand new episode. Joined by always uh, Junior and Jordan. Junior, how you doing today?
I'm good. Ready to get this going. How are you?
Doing good.
All right.
Jordan.
I'm doing great. I can't wait to talk about these games.
Hell yeah. Um, we got a lot of football to cover. A lot of upcoming exciting games to to analyze as well. Um, and a big story that we're just gonna get right into the U.S. Greg Balter, well, the Berhalter family and the Reyna family, little drama that's going on. Junior, I'm gonna let it off to you because I know you've been covering this a lot more than I have. So if you can just,
I'm not covering it. I just
if you could just,
Researching it.
just been getting into it.
if you can just resume, do like a quick resume of people who
Yeah.
haven't been following it.
So at the World Cup, Gio Reyna didn't play, and it was baffling to everyone and all the fans. And so they were all wondering. So leading up, like he apologized to his. He was being like a brat or something. Like he was because they had told him he wasn't gonna be playing. He's gonna be, getting a few minutes here and there. So it just blew into this big thing, and it was just even after the World Cup, it even got even bigger because we didn't know in the World Cup when it was happening, and then after the World Cup, we found out like this is happening because Berhalter let it out. So going into that, what happened after the World Cup or during it, the Reina family, Danielle, the wife, Gio Reina's mom, is the one that who said these things to Ernie Stewart, who is in charge of the U.S. Soccer Federation.
Hmm.
And it's basically that Berhalter, and when he was in his um, early, I think 18, 19 years old,
Yeah, 18.
uh, yeah, he had physically abused his wife or his girlfriend at the time, and I don't know. We don't know the extent of what this. He says he actually put out a statement. It was like he kicked her
Hmm.
after an argument or something, and he's like apologized that or brought it up himself because he didn't want other people bringing it up before him. And it's just about like yeah, I was a different person then. We worked like I feel really bad for doing this, and the whole the spiel of I was a different me. I'm a different guy now, and we get that.
Yeah,
It's totally be understandable. Like doing past mistakes. I mean, I've been there.
yeah,
You guys know. So you kind of you sympathize that you don't want people to bring up stuff that you did when you're barely getting into adulthood, like learning what to do as a person and all that stuff.
yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that they try to like blackmail him because that's how they're saying it. But she like what it seemed like it was just like him having a conversation with Ernie Stewart. There, it's also a friend because both families are soccer families, so
Yeah.
they've been in the system pretty long time, so they know Ernie Stewart, who's also been in the system, U.S. soccer system. So
Yeah.
she thought it was just like like, well, my son, he did this, and then they kind of like put him aside for being little brat, which is minor to her when he's like, oh, Berhalter, remember when Berhalter like physically abused his wife? It's nothing like that. Try to like make it better that his kid was just being a brat, which is kind of get a little bit spoiled
Yeah.
anyway, especially growing up, pretty pretty all right. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
that like the
Pretty.
Reynas weren't you
Right.
know
Right.
in poverty; they were like upper middle class.
Right.
So you understand that from kids that grew up having everything.
Yeah.
So that's basically the drama. Like,
Yeah.
so now, bro, like, it's uncertain if Berhalter is gonna stay. But the whole thing about this is that now it's gonna be made about this, and I could not care about this honestly. Like, unless he like it was actually something that he like didn't grow up from, and he's still like a piece of
Yeah. If he
finish
was
that.
if that was still like happening till this day,
Yeah, if he
stuff
was
like that.
still like this type of person, then I would care about that. But it seems like he's not that type of person anymore. He's learned from it and all these things. Which it's what you should do as a person.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like this is gonna blur the fact that he did terrible at the World Cup in my eyes. It's not the we got out of the group stage. In my mind, like that's what was the goal from the beginning, and great that we did, but it was like with results that were kind of questionable, all of them.
Yeah.
Even if we tied with England, still we could have won that game. So
Yeah.
all these little things are kind of blemish the fact that he should not be the head coach for the U.S. And I don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, that's a big story. And what in my mind is like if other teams are or other nationalities and they're like, what's going on in the U.S. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, France had something similar that happened to them, but that was between players, and that
Yeah.
was that was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So,
That was obviously, talking about her Greg Balter's wife Danielle making a statement, and basically her saying that, somewhat of what you said, where she was talking to Stewart, and it was just basically a conversation, and
mhm.
it was like a comment like, well, Berhalter did way worse when he was Gio Reyna's age. That's what she had stated. Um, and she said that it was just a statement, that she didn't mean to like blackmail, or she didn't. They obviously, then the federation like had to investigate it, because they were like, oh, what you mean, like something way worse than Reyna? And so they took her words to an investigation. But she said that like it was just a comment, that she didn't mean it to like blackmail him or like cause threat. It was just something to like, that he felt like her son was being crucified for way less than what the actual situation was, and stuff like that. And then going back to how you said, I forget Gio Reyna's, his first,
Oh,
Reyna's
Claudio
dad,
Pérez?
Claudio Reyna and Greg Balter actually
Yeah.
being friends, the whole
Oh
family
yeah,
just
yeah.
being long, long,
High
long,
school
long time friends.
yeah, from high
And
school, like it's pretty crazy.
yeah, so
And then being in college, both of their wives that were in college together.
yeah, and they saying that like they always treated their Greg Balter
Each,
kids like with respect, and they
they're
felt
like,
they heard their kid was being ousted like that, which I mean, it's a difficult position that you're in, because you're the national
and
team coach,
especially, oh, sorry, I go ahead.
well, I said you're the national team coach, and you know if Rio Reina deserved, well, we all said that he deserved to start, but if Greg Welter saw that his character was an issue, then I can understand that. But I don't agree with the fact that he said, "I'm bringing you, but you're not in my plans." That type
Yeah,
of thing.
like why would you tell that to the player? Like, there's many ways. It'd be like, like I'm not gonna be start. You're not gonna be starting the first game. I could understand this. Like, I'm not gonna be starting you the first game,
Hmm.
but like we'll see what happens. Like, I need you to, like if you tell me as a player is like, hey, I need you to work on your, work rate. I want you to like when you leave the ball, like go get the ball, whatever the issue was. I honestly, I think that might have been the issue
Hmm.
because when I see Gio Reyna play, he's one of those old school type of players, like those tens that or those attacking players that don't want to do the sacrifice of like getting the ball
Right.
type of stuff, which is understandable. Like what you're gonna do what's best. What's your best attributes. Like if my attributes is to like dribble, guess what? I'm gonna dribble. Like if my best is like to be speed over you, I'm gonna speed over you. So
Yeah.
that type of thing. If I can't defend, what the hell am I doing it for? like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I feel like I'm just gonna like putting myself in a bad spot because I don't know how to defend. I'm just gonna hurt somebody or like I don't
Yeah.
know like whatever question. Like you could work on it and it's you could give you could give a certain percentage of what you're expecting of him, but to at least something. If you tell me something like that, then I'd be like, okay, let me work on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the whole thing, how you said it, just kind of like brushes off of what the U.S. actually did in the World Cup and the
Yeah,
questions that were raised, and it just it makes a spot in the federation as a whole, really messy thing. I want to go with Jordan just to see if it. Jordan, do you have any comments about what just happened, or what the drama?
Yeah, well, drama always rises when there's families involved, and then they're like they know each other, so they think it kind of makes me feel like Reina's parents are like, "Oh, why didn't you play him? Like we know each other. Why didn't you play him?" Like they're coming in from that angle
Hmm.
of like, "Oh, we know you. Why aren't you playing him?" And I think it goes back to what Berhalter did, which I think I've seen coaches do this at least, where they're trying to motivate the player to work harder. So they're like, "Oh, you haven't been working hard, so you're not going to play this game." To try to motivate the player to, "Oh, I'm gonna work harder in training." And I guess that backfired, according to the reports, that Reyna wasn't really trying in training. Because I think that was the problem that he had with Reyna after he told him that, is that he stopped really trying in training.
Yeah.
And these are all reports according to whoever leaked that information, which
Mm.
I don't know because when I've seen Reyna, I've watched a couple of Borussia Dortmund games. Yeah, Reyna is intent, but he does like to track back. He likes to scrape up his mistakes, sort of way. He doesn't always defend, but he is pretty good at getting in pressing. He's pretty good at getting in people's way, intercepting balls. And I think this situation with Reyna's mom of just talking, I think she should have at least been like, oh, just to like, this is a disclaimer. We're talking as friends. I'm not trying to like put any smut on Berhalter's name, but it is like friends. And I think that the steward guy took it like a literal, like, oh, this is, I need to look into this. If I think if she would have been more specific about what the situation was, that could have probably got this whole investigation over with.
Hmm.
But I think that you're not allowed to be more specific in a situation that doesn't involve you, because it doesn't involve her. It involves Berhalter and his wife,
Yeah.
his current wife, who they've been married for 25 years. So
Yeah.
I think he has changed in a way since they went through that. And in his statement, he says that they grew better together and they learned from that mistake, which that's all anybody could do from when you have a mistake, is learn from it.
Yeah.
But I don't think this. I think this might get Berhalter fired, if anything, just because it's a drama, and if federations don't like to have drama in their company, like anything.
Yeah.
So it might get him fired, but I still think
Well,
that
there's
he had a.
already.
It was a good
Sorry.
stepping point from him in the World Cup, because it was his first World Cup with all these players' first World Cup. So I think it's not gonna. It's gonna put a bad mark in this 4 years that Berhalter was with the USA national team.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was looking for who's interim manager because they're gonna have an interim manager for these January camp,
Right.
but I forgot who it was. It was the assistant.
Yeah.
So
His
that's
assistant. Yeah. Just real quick. I feel like after what the U.S. showed at the World Cup, I think Greg Walter should have let go, not for this reason, but because of footballing reasons. So just real quick, if you guys can just give me if sh-
it's
should he
Anthony
stay?
Hudson,
Anthony
the
Hudson. There you go.
interim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a real quick if Berhalter should stay or go.
obviously he should go. I mean,
Jordan.
the fact that he got hired is just I don't know. To me, I want to coach like I get if he was if he had been in the unders and he's grown up with a certain type of player had kind of core, which he did have because it was like Haji, McKennie, Tyler Adams, Pulisic. They've all they played all through the unders, so there's kind of a core. If they had like got Tab Ramos, would have been great for me. I think Tab Ramos for me one of the top prospects for coaching the U.S. team. That's
Thanks, that was really quick.
Jordan.
prospect to me.
Jordan.
What was the question? If he should leave?
If you think he should stay or go.
Pay attention,
Well, I
maybe.
think I think he has to. I think it's gonna be he has to go, and I think he's probably gonna still stay with the USA in some way, not as the coach, but as a, I don't know what other position he could be, but like the director there, because he did pretty good for the 4 years he was there. He got us to a World Cup, which the past coach didn't. So I
What
think he did all right. Footballing wise, I don't really like his style of football. It's not an entertaining style of football, really. You guys say he had a bad performances, but I think he did okay. I wouldn't say they were bad, but yeah, he is gonna definitely have to leave, especially after how players reacted to what he said, Gio Reyna.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead into all the football games that we got. We'll start off with the Premier League. A surprising result: the 3-1 victory of Brentford over Liverpool. Brentford, that as we've known from Thomas Frank, loves to play attacking football, and were just mercilessly attacking. And Buemo was, man, look looked Van Dijk looked pretty average in his in the goal that he scored. And then Konate as well, being and Buemo being able to beat Konate off the ball and being able to slide past it through. What a great ball behind the defense to set up that third goal. And then a second goal that was just kind of a header in the area, and it kind of was a reflection of someone as well, and just made it in. And Brentford was weren't. I mean, Liverpool just weren't able to react. We talked about the weaknesses in Liverpool defense still, and how they're gonna how they're gonna what they're gonna do to counteract that problem. Um, but Brentford very good. Liverpool still showing their weaknesses. Um, the Liverpool goal was a great cross from Trent into the box, and being able to Darwin Nunez being able to show for the goal in that goal. He should have had another goal in the first half, but was able to miss the shot. Jensen, actually no, Ben Mee was able to shot the stop on the goal line. But I'm gonna go with you first, Junior. Do you still think this Liverpool side can go top four?
Um, let me look at the table a second. Or
Just
like
to correct you,
yeah,
Calvin, Alexander
on
Arnold,
this list.
Oxley Chamberlain scored.
Yeah, Ox.
Oh yeah, Ox,
That's
Ox,
true.
Ox. Yeah,
He was in front of. He
Yes,
made the run
yes.
in front of Darwin Nunes.
I mean, by the way they're playing, no. Like I told you, like this Liverpool team is not that Liverpool that strike fear. You know that even with Firmino and their being
I
in their nine or whatever. That was a. I think I saw that team and I was like, I hated like how going up against it. Like it's just so fast and attacking and like moving the ball like from line to line or for skipping lines really quick. That was it was really fast football or what do you call it, like heavy metal football.
yeah
That I like that. So that was a scary team to face. It was just like they were so fast, but this Liverpool is doesn't like. I mean, even if you're like Diego Jota or Luis Diaz, and I'm like, okay,
yeah
they are gonna show me one thing, and that it works. Like I've said it before, like Liverpool is like very like they always like attack, and then gonna just some crosses in, and then there's gonna be somebody in there, or they're just gonna speed you through the through the flank, and then just one on one type of thing. So they're pretty predictable to me. Watching them, I just put that one thing is watching and knowing what's gonna happen, and then actually having
yeah
being there and experiencing it. But mm, I don't think so. Now with watching, like seeing this, like now that people know, like, oh, we just have to attack them. Oh,
yeah
I feel like it's pretty. That was pretty like common. Like you just attack teams that like to have the ball, and you're gonna get something out of them.
yeah. One thing I forgot to mention was Liverpool just 7 points behind fourth place, Man
Yeah,
United. Um,
yeah. I was watching the table
It
right
could
now.
have.
There's
It
six.
honestly could have been a lot more, but there were a couple goals for Brentford that was just offside, um, that were didn't count, obviously. But Jordan, do you still think Liverpool can get top four?
It's gonna have to take a lot of work, especially they played a 4-3-3 with Harvey Elliott playing as a center mid, and I think that was just bad. I think Oxley Chamberlain should have played as a center mid and maybe put Harvey Elliott as a left winger because Elliott is way better attacking than he is in the midfield. But yeah, Brentford had like 3 goals if those goals weren't offsides. Like they had like 3 goals from set pieces. So again, I don't know what the hell Klopp is doing there. I don't know, but I think the 4-3-3 really didn't suit them.
Yeah.
then I think that's what cost him in the end. And Konate, I think, yeah, I think that price tag on him is kind of showing that they made a mistake. I think Upamecano is way better than him. And I think that's the guy that they should have gone for because that was the rumors. It was either Konate or Upamecano, and I think Bayern Munich beat him to the punch.
Well, yeah, that's it. One of the things that I look when I see as a Liverpool, I feel like just real quickly before we get to the next question, I feel like the actual issue is in their midfielder. The midfielder is not protecting their defense well enough. Um, I still think Onate is a very good signing from for Liverpool, but I just feel like that midfielder isn't protecting their defense well enough as they should. Well, because remember when they were at their top, they have Henderson and Fabinho, two of the best like defensive midfielders, protecting that defense, and they couldn't get past them, and that's why their fullbacks were allowed the liberty to go so high up because they knew they had a player like Fabinho and Henderson protecting them. But now that you've seen Henderson kind of has fallen off a bit, and Fabinho is not at the level that we're used to seeing him. So that's why I think one of the biggest. That's why one of the big reasons is that they're chasing names like Enzo Fernandez, Jude Bellingham. Midfielders that can be able to give some protection to the defense.
Well, it's also you got to keep the ball. Like when I look at that midfield, like nobody like is good at keeping the ball. Like a Thiago to me, I think it was like a very interesting signing what he wanted to do. And also Jordan mentioned it. Having Harvey Elliott in the midfield is like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah,
you
Yeah, and the
know?
weird
yeah,
thing is that they had 73 possession. So, like, they let them have the ball, and they're like, oh, we'll just counterattack you.
Yeah.
Or we'll attack you on the set piece. It's like, I don't know what's going on with them defensively. I guess the curse is true
But
for
also
Klopp.
like if they're not like because they had a lot of chances. Like like the scoreline doesn't like tell the full story. We all know that, but
yeah,
like Liverpool had some chances, they just couldn't finish.
yeah,
Like I said, like they're not on their top level, none of them.
yeah. And then, so that brings me to Brentford. Do you think they'll be able to get top six? They're currently 2 points behind the sixth position.
Uh, no, probably not. They just don't have the squad depth. You have to remind that it's mid. We're halfway through the season.
Jordan?
I thought you were saying mid like an
Oh,
insult.
like Brentford. Well, they are mid.
But I think it's possible they might get into the
So
conference league. I could see them get into the conference
yeah,
league. But they have a really good team, a lot of good pieces. Maybe in the summer, some players might leave because I see a lot of talent in that midfield.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see it.
Okay, so Jordan thinks they can, and Junior thinks they can't, which goes off to
well, well, seeing it and actually, thinking it's two different things. Like, oh yeah, they could win the league, or like, you know, anything could happen, really.
well, yeah, but I'm just saying that like
Wait, when they played Chelsea, what was the scoreline?
Don't even talk about it. I don't remember actually.
well, they did like 3-1 or something like that as well,
Yeah, it was. Well, I think it was it with Brentford.
or
I don't
was it,
remember. I'm
or
thinking.
was
I'm thinking
no?
Brighton because
Yeah,
I'm
I think
thinking.
it was Brighton. I think it was
Yeah,
Brighton. Yeah,
Brighton beat us. I do remember that.
yeah. All right, well that goes off to our next
Jordan
game,
looking up the scoreline.
fourth place, Manchester United versus bottom table Bournemouth, 3-0 the scoreline. Very kind of easy game for Manchester United. A volley, a set piece coming from Casemiro scoring the first, and then two great goals coming off of kind of a counter attacking, which Manchester United's not, Ten Hag team has been kind of used to in this season. One with a great run for Luke Shaw starting it off and being able to finish it, and then a
Mm.
second one where it was a nice ball behind the defense, Bruno Fernandes laying it to Marcus Rashford and scoring the 3-0. Very comfortable win from a Bournemouth side that really didn't offer much an attack. Um, Still in fourth place is Manchester United side, 1 point behind City in second place. Guys, do you think the Manchester United hype is
No,
real?
Who? I think what's the big team that they beat in?
Arsenal and Liverpool.
They beat Arsenal.
Yeah, they beat Arsenal.
Hmm.
But what happened in the game? I don't remember. But I just don't believe this. Like, it's
It
that
was
English
basically
media. English
basically
media loves Manchester United for who knows what reason. It's just like the Sir Alex Ferguson era. I swear, dude. Because this team before the Premier League was total garbage. That's my hot take. Any Manchester United fans could come at me. I don't care. Like Liverpool was the big team, and you're not gonna change my mind. Liverpool, I still think Liverpool to me is the biggest team in England, in my eyes. You know,
Jordan. Are you buying this Manchester United hype?
I saw an interesting stat that in the first 25 games that he has the best record as a Manchester United coach. And
Yeah,
but like you looked at the list of the names, and they're not really big names. They're usual names that they take like a long time for their system to go in. But I don't
and it's
really like
also
Ten Hag's play style. I feel like it's more of a players like they do their own stuff. And to be honest, Bournemouth had a lot of good counterattacks on them. I think the Casemiro or whoever they have as their holding midfielders just let them go straight at them, and it
Casemiro.
forces De Gea to make saves. So I think the defense is still a big problem. It's just they're lucky that De Gea is playing and has a good form right now
and
because
that
they got
We
Bournemouth
them on
we
a
already
do
did.
bunch of
we do gotta
counterattacks.
mention it was a rotated defense. It wasn't their starting back four in defense.
Yeah, this is the scary Bournemouth too, right?
I'm just
Nobody wants to
saying,
face it.
it was Harry
Well,
Maguire and
I'm just saying
Lindelof.
too. Like it's always like
It
this.
was
That they're like, oh,
Maguire and
they.
Lindelof at the back.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
it wasn't Varane and Lisandro Martinez.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
but
another
also
thing, I hope Van de Beek gets healthy. He got taken off with an injury.
Yeah,
Hopefully he gets back because it looked like that was really painful.
yeah, yeah. It was a leg injury. Hopefully he recovers well and is able to come back
he's
stronger.
been a string of bad luck. That Van de Beek. He was
He
a
has.
really talented player in that Ajax team. That was a really interesting player. I always wonder what could have been if he actually got some playing time. I don't know, like what happened to him. I don't know
Yeah,
what people are not seeing in him.
yeah.
But yeah, he's a
Another
very
thing about
talented
Manchester
guy.
United, I'm looking at their stats right now, and they have 13 fouls and zero yellow cards and zero red cards.
I'm telling you, the
And then
bias.
Bournemouth has 7 fouls and 3 yellow cards.
I'm telling you. Look at the game, dude. They have Casemiro. You're not gonna get a yellow on Casemiro. No
Hey,
way,
que Casemiro's a nice
dude.
fella, dude.
Dude, no way. Because he smiles. That's always
Yeah,
that shit that is like, people are smiling. Ronaldinho. That's why Ronaldinho was pretty bad at, when he would foul. Like, they were really bad fouls. But they wouldn't give him yellow
because he
because
would
it's
smile.
Ronaldinho. I'm not going to say anything because he played for Barcelona and AC Milan, but those fouls are pretty bad.
So I'm gonna go with you. Well, I'm gonna start with you, Jordan, because you said you weren't buying it as well. What do Manchester United need to get to that level, or what do they need for you to start believing in them?
It beat Manchester City.
Okay, I like that answer, Junior.
I mean, honestly, it's just them to be sold. If they're gonna be sold, and I think David Ornstein was talking about it that they wanted to sell him before the end of the quarter,
Yeah,
perhaps before January. So don't expect any transfers coming in because they're not gonna spend money on a team they're gonna sell. So that's honestly to me the thing that could propel them to even achieving anything is getting more players in
yeah,
because they obviously need some players in.
yeah,
So I just that's why I don't believe in this whatever is happening. So after they're sold or whatever is gonna happen, then I could see some structure to this team.
yeah.
But other than that, yeah, nothing. They're
All
not
right,
gonna
well,
get anything.
off to the Arsenal versus Newcastle game, a 0-0 draw. Very, very tough for Arsenal. Disappointing to drop points at home, but a Newcastle side that were very, very well organized. They they lit a couple of chances, but I feel like both chances that Nick Pope had them well covered. Um, let me see here what I wrote down.
I want to know what Jordan wrote down.
Yeah, it was a couple of chances from Gabriel Martinelli where he could have been able to open the scoring but weren't able to. First half chance by Chaka, Martinelli being able to pass the through ball on him, but just a little too hard on the pass for Martinelli for Chaka to really get a hold of it. Um, yeah, it was just a really difficult 0-0 draw. Um, I will start with you, Jordan. Do you Arsenal need to be worried about this?
Wait up, I'm pulling up the stats. Um,
I'm a,
so yeah, pass it to Junior.
yeah, Junior. Should Arsenal be worrying? Should we see this trend of Arsenal go back to their old ways of just bottling?
I mean, honestly, no. I think it was the referee had a lot to do with this scoreline. Newcastle were good, but not to. I mean, they obviously held them off to 0-0, but this Arsenal side was the better team
Yeah,
to me when I saw it, and then
yeah,
they didn't get a penalty that should have been a penalty. There were just inconsistencies in this game that that were against Arsenal more than Newcastle, and I feel like the referee kind of tainted a little bit. I don't know why he didn't go to VAR in certain situations. I think Arsenal was a better team, and it hurts me to talk good about Arsenal, but
Well, so you think that was a penalty?
yeah, and I feel
Wow.
like
Okay.
you don't.
And then honestly, no, I don't think that was a penalty.
you know,
Fuck.
I mean, dude. See, this is the thing though. Like, there's like they give penalties to some teams and then don't give penalties to some teams. If they're gonna give penalties for this, like, give it to all teams. If you're just doing it for certain teams that you like, Manchester United getting these calls, you know,
Yeah.
that's what I always hate. Is like Manchester United
Forget
always
about
gets
it.
the call. It's like third Real Madrid of the Premier League. Real Madrid
Well,
gets
Hey,
if you look at the
almost
whoa,
every
replay,
call.
he
hey.
goes like this, right, with his hand to like.
Yeah,
I had never seen anybody do that in a slide tackle. Usually, you go like this
You're
next to your
trying to
body,
like
but he
tuck in
extended
your
it out.
hands. You're trying to tuck in your hands, and if by now you don't understand that you have to be tucking in your hands to not be called, because that's the new rule now. You get your hands behind your back, tied to your body, and these defenders are still like putting it up over here and all this. When to me, I'm just like, if they're not gonna, maybe not a penalty like we said before, but like a indirect free kick, why did that leave football?
yeah,
Like a direct free kick, like it wasn't intentional or whatever you want to call it, but it was a handball, was it not? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like there's no like ifs or ands about it. Like it was
yeah.
a
I could,
handball, so indirect kick or penalty. That's it.
yeah, I can agree with you right there. That I mean, he did touch his hand. I don't
Yeah,
think it's enough for a penalty, but maybe an indirect free kick can be given there.
exactly.
But I
But
don't know
it
why the
changes the
ref.
whole thing of the game because now like they're like, oh, we should have got that penalty. Like, why didn't we get like they're all against us type of thing? And they're like, now every call that you're not getting it
Yeah,
because now like you made the referee like because we have to say this like these people are human. So if you're on this player like and you're always constantly harassing him, he's now like, well, I'm not gonna call it for you. We don't know what's going on in their heads. So now the game is tainted to me because now it's something else. Like now it's the game is like now it's on like a mental game now instead of
yeah,
what's actually happening on the field.
yeah. Jordan, to the question, or
That's what I gotta say.
should Arsenal be worried?
No, they played a pretty good game against Newcastle. Newcastle kind of played very defensive against Arsenal. I don't
Yeah,
think they. I think that their plan was to go in for the draw and try to get a win, try to sneak in a win. I think that was the plan all along, especially how defensive they were playing. They
yeah,
didn't really get that many chances, and the chances that they did get, we were mistakes from us. So we were kind of like shooting ourselves in a way.
yeah,
But we cleaned up our mess of mistakes. The penalty I think should have been given. I think if you look at since VAR has been in the Premier League, Arsenal have been the team most punished by VAR and not getting calls or getting red cards from stuff. And I think if you look at the stats, I think during the 2020 seasons, we were the ones with the most missed calls or would have been reversed calls. But
Yeah.
I just think it's a bad referee. I don't think it's like a thing that they're against Arsenal. I think another problem was that we only had one sub. Tomiyasu was the only one that came in for Ben White. I think maybe if we would have gave Marquinhos a shot, our center attacking mid to come in and do some damage, I think that could have been a different game.
Yeah.
But I trust in our team. I think Newcastle are going home with that's the result that they wanted. I think we're fine with getting that result because we have such a big lead. But we need to play better, especially with well, actually, because they are fourth, right? They're like fourth or fifth,
Who?
Newcastle.
Yeah, they're fourth. They're fourth right now.
So like, and Manchester United or Manchester City draw against a fourth team, you're saying they got a good result. So I think people overreact because it's Arsenal and it's first time they've been at
Yeah.
first in a long time.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fine result.
Well, from London to another London club, Spurs winning 4-0 against Crystal Palace. I know Junior doesn't like to talk about Spurs, but I like to talk about Spurs still. Um, 4-0 result. It was kind of a result that it kind of opened up in the second half. Uh, a very good play from Brian Hill and two goals to give a shot for Harry Kane. Um, two assists to Harry Kane actually. Very good play from Brian Hill. Um, and then what's it called? Huming Son scoring one, and Matt Doherty scoring the other. Um, Ex Arsenal player, ex Arsenal fan.
He's
But
still an
So Harry
Arsenal
Kane,
fan.
an ex Arsenal fan too.
yeah, Harry Kane too, huh? 4-0 result, pretty easy. You would have thought that Crystal Palace would have got a little bit more, but they did have a couple of chances in the first half, but in the second half, just felt like they were overwhelmed by this Spurs side. I'll start with you first, Junior. Is this a turnaround for Spurs?
This is the Patrick Vieira at Crystal Palace, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he likes to play, open football. So you kind of expect this, when they're very like stubborn with the style of play. You always see this with the Marcelo Bielsa. He gets slaughtered by teams constantly,
Yeah.
but it's goddamn, he's gonna get some fans on the stands because they had some great games.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm still not impressed by this. Like I said, like you'll get a good game, and like it kind of has to deal with Crystal Palace letting them play the
Mhm.
certain way. So it kind of just goes back to that. I just think their team is not good enough, and they're not all doing it. They're you could say they're not on their 100%. Most of them, I think.
Yeah.
Brian Hill is a very good player. He was sought after back in the La Liga. A lot of the teams were interested in him.
Yeah.
He's a very talented player, so I'm interested in what he does. Maybe bring him up to one of my teams. So the fact that he's doing good is I like it. And
Uh,
the last player that came like that went from Tottenham to Spanish side, won some Champions League. So maybe that's the formula.
Well, Brian Hill was at Valencia the last season.
Yeah,
yeah.
he was on loan, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and they were trying to get a deal, but Conte wanted him back.
Hmm.
Jordan, do you think this is a turnaround for Spurs?
Well, from looking at the scoreline, because I didn't watch the game, it is an impressive scoreline, but it is Crystal Palace, a team that doesn't have that many pieces.
Yeah.
So, like, you're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Like, Conte is a great coach; he should do this. I think it's good for Human Song to get a goal because he hasn't been playing like himself.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
All right. Well, on to the game that is yet to play for this match week is the Manchester City versus Chelsea game. It's gonna be at Stamford Bridge. Um, a tough game usually for any side that visits Stamford Bridge, but a team that Kevin De Bruyne usually loves to give a man of the match performance. So we'll see how that goes. Chelsea kind of in a slump right now, and City kind of in a slump as well. Um, so it's the two sides that are the two teams will be looking to get points out of, and will be looking to get that win. Last year's game at Stamford Bridge was a close game and won just 1-0 by Arsenal player now Gabriel Jesus. So it's still gonna be a tough game for City, no doubt, regardless of the form that Chelsea are in. Um, Jordan Jr., I'll start with you. What do you think are gonna be the keys to the game?
Defense, like always, I think we overlook how important defenses are in teams because we're always amazed by attacking.
Yeah,
But honestly, like all the lines that in Chelsea don't give me any kind of confidence. I've been saying that for a while. Like the signings that have come in are just not what we expected. Cucurella has been a so-so. He's been doing all right. And, Fofana, we haven't seen much of him, but he is a good. I think he is a very good player, but
yeah,
we just haven't seen enough of him. Kai Havertz, obviously he made the Champions League goal, but having him as a striker doesn't suit him. I think still like he's a very tall player, but he works best having someone there. You know,
yeah,
and we saw that when like Mason Mount would go in there. That's how we got the goal. Or Pulisic being right there, like right next or like right in front, so that he could come out and they go forward. That type of deal.
yeah,
So I still like if I think I don't know if the forward we got is available, but that'd be interesting if he actually starts him first match.
yeah,
So I'm wondering what he will do, but I just don't think so. It's too soon, and it's just like you don't want never want to do that to a new player coming in and being under pressure against the Manchester City. It's like a win-win that you have to win,
yeah,
or you're gonna keep dropping points, and you just don't want to be in that situation where you're out of the top 10,
mm,
like nonetheless top six.
yeah,
So it's a must win for Chelsea for sure. Like out of the two teams, who needs to win is Chelsea.
yeah, yeah. I seen a quote by Graham Potter saying that um, Fofana will come in and they'll evaluate him and see what's the best route for him to go forward. If they're gonna try to keep him in the first team and give him some minutes here and there, or they're gonna try to see if they can arrange a loan for the player, see what's the best suited for him. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see um what they actually does with his Chelsea. Um, Jordan, any key matchups for this game?
Well, Havertz against Ederson for sure. I don't really like Ederson as a
Unacceptable.
goalie. I think he's he tries to be more of a sweeper keeper, which is nothing wrong with that. But I think it costs you some chances. Sometimes it costs you him being up high. Uh, but I could see this game ending in a draw,
I mean,
in
honestly, that's what I'm hoping
in
for.
a 2-2 draw or like in a 1-1 draw. But I think Manchester City needs to go for the win because they can't afford the gap to go longer, especially since Arsenal just tied. So you
Yeah,
could gain some points here.
yeah,
But Chelsea are really good at counterattacking too. So I think it might be a revenge game for Raheem Sterling. I don't know.
Yeah,
That could
oh,
also
I
be
forgot
a
about
thing.
that. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Obviously, it's gonna be a tight game. Obviously the big matchup for City's perspective is gonna be Haaland against Koulibaly. How they gonna match up against that Chelsea center backs. Um, and obviously if our wing players can cause any damage as well off in the flanks, but um, I'm gonna ask for your guys' score predictions, but I see this. I'm going with a 1-0 result to Manchester City. How you said, I think these teams are gonna be the key is gonna be the defense on this aspect, and I think a 1-0 result for City is gonna be the result that's gonna be taken away. Junior,
And I'll go 1-0 Chelsea.
Jordan,
I
Kai
see a
Havertz
two
goal
one.
again.
he
I
said,
see a 2-1, 2-1 Chelsea.
"Ooh,
Oh, thanks,
okay,
bro.
okay, okay, okay."
I'm not doing it for you, dude. I'm looking at some brain.
But still, thanks.
I see this game going into financial fair play. Both get relegated. I think.
Stupid.
Too
Uh,
much money in the field.
all right, well, on to the Spanish league and the Copa del Rey competition. Um,
Wait, before we move on, I gotta go to the restroom with
oh my. Just a recap of the score lines real quick. Valencia 3-0 to La Nuncia. Uh, damn, I can't even read my handwriting. Canceron
Lucia.
0-1 against Real Madrid. Uh, Real Oviedo 0 against Atletico Madrid 2, and 3-4 Barcelona win against Intercity. Um, a real quick, I'll start with you, Jordan, so you can start off what you think about this Valencia game.
We did our job. I think Valencia did their job, especially winning 3-0, winning and getting a good win from this game because the we were in the finals last year.
Hmm.
So I think this was a good showing for our team. I like the formation that they used. They used a 3-4-2-1, which is more of a like a 5-2-3 because the left mid and the right mid are left backs. Well, traditionally left backs,
Hmm.
Vasquez and Lato. And I like playing Clover. I like that Clover got a goal, especially really early. I think that it's going to give him more confidence for La Liga games because he is a really good player, but he just needs to get on the right foot. Hugo Duro also scored, which is another player that I hope stays on the long run because we need a striker, especially if Cavani doesn't produce. He could possibly come in and do some damage too.
Yeah,
But yeah, just a great win, especially getting the clean sheet.
yeah,
Gattuso again with getting like 17 fouls in this game, but we only got one yellow card, so that's good.
yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to say before we actually started, but I completely forgot is these games are difficult for these bigger opposing sides that go into these like very small stadiums. Which well, actually, Intercity has a pretty good stadium. I was like, what the heck? Where they have such a big stadium? Maybe I don't know if they share like stadium with someone else, but I was really surprised at their capacity for their stadium. But it's very difficult for these bigger teams when they come to these smaller opposition sides where they have a very tight pitches where you feel like where you feel like the fans are like right next to you, you know, when you're taking a throw in or even a goal kick or a corner, you know, you just feel like the fans are on top of you, so it makes it difficult. And also some of these pitches are not, you know, to the level of like to like the first division team, you know. So it makes it harder to play in as well, and it makes it harder for your idea of football to be exercised. But yeah, very good result for Valencia to be able to win 3-0 against La Nuncia.
Can I say something when you were mentioning that?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of annoying that you hear players that it's just like the privilege that they have is like, oh, this field was this and that. And I'm like, bro, yeah, like, what do you expect? They're in the third division. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like, you expect them to have, like,
Yeah,
it's not Real Madrid. Yeah,
yeah,
we know that. That's why they're in the third division, my guy.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's
No,
just like, you know,
I
it's some
wasn't.
shit that you have to deal with. And,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
While we're talking about this,
That's what I was gonna say.
what type of field do you guys like?
What do you mean?
Grass or turf?
I prefer grass.
grass. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
because
like
I think every
turf right
field
now.
should be grass.
Yeah,
I feel like turf is not at that level that I mean I feel like it's the technology it's fluent and advanced so it's actually better, but I feel like right now it's
Yeah,
just
as
gratifying.
of right now, yeah, I just feel I prefer
I've
gas.
heard of a new invention that's coming. It's called like supergrass or something,
Yeah, there's like I said, like
where
the
it's like
technology is getting there.
where they make
But
the more like grass. So because in turf, usually your cleat gets stuck, and that could cause a lot of injuries, especially if someone
mhm.
slide tackles you. So they're trying to improve that, so it costs less injury to players.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on, Galen. Sorry to interrupt you. Just
Yeah.
wanted to know you guys' takes.
No, to Junior's point, yeah, I wasn't saying to like to complain about it or like, moan about it. I was just saying that it's something that you have to deal with and you have to like on
Yeah,
the
like
spot
I said,
adjust to it.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it changes your plan, but at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, that's why these, they're so hard. Like you said, like these are really hard games, and then people don't realize how difficult they can be.
yeah,
And there's like, oh, they should have like plowed through this team or whatever. And it's like, yeah, like talent based or whatever the hell you want to call it, but like and people like I always say this, like pitch, like when you go visit a team, like it's kind of hard. Like always, people, the altitude, like what time of the day, and all these
yeah,
different like variables that go into it. Like this being like home or away.
yeah,
Like you said, like them being so close, like people always berating you, and you can't. You get
Yeah,
in the booth. Having the booth in Santiago Bernabeu is not the same as
yeah,
like an intercity,
yeah,
but still, like
yeah,
it's it depends on the player.
yeah. Well, to the Real Madrid game again, Cancerano. It was a really, really tight game.
Con Sereño.
Cancereño, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, Cancereño. It was a really tight game for Real Madrid. Um, One of the things that I had said it was that the pitch was just not the best conditions, and it made it really hard for Real Madrid to like play the way they wanted to play. They had to revert to just trying to find long balls, try to find
Mhm.
Hazard, Rodrigo, and Asensio, which you know those three players are not really the best of physical forwards, so they weren't able to hold up the ball as someone like Benzema. So it was just really difficult for them. Um, Hazard was Man, I've tried to keep hoping that Hazard would turn good or be able to find a position as a number 10, but he was completely out of the pitch today. I don't know if it had something to do that this side were very physical. They were showed their physicality very early on and weren't allowing like maybe a Rodrigo or Camavinga to actually like dribble the ball and get do something with it. So it made it difficult for those type of players, for Asensio as well. So Hazard was just pretty much not existent in this game, which is really disappointing to see. One of the most early subs that I've seen Carlo Ancelotti do for
Oh,
Hazard.
really? What minute was that?
That was like in the minute like 50 something, very early on, that he
Uh,
made the change for Hazard. Yeah, it was just really, I was really disappointed. Um, but at the end, Rodrigo being able to get past two defenders and just put it in the far post for the goalkeeper, and just held out to that result. Um, a player that I was surprised watching this Cancereno side was Deyes, who used to play for Atlas and is a Mexican player that I didn't know, but he was really like putting some shots in for the defense and making it difficult, which I was really surprised. I was like Cruz Azul maybe, but no, he was really 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 good. And another player that I forgot his name, um, I can't think of his name, but he was like basically their
His
number.
number?
He was the captain. I know that he was the captain for
No,
the
okay.
team, and he was really influential to how Cancereno play. And you can tell as soon as he got subbed off that there was a different team. Real Madrid took
Mm.
over the possession and were really comfortable, settled in, and I think that was the reason why. But another
was
one
it grande?
was it what?
Grande?
Grande. No, I think his name starts with an M. It's like
Mericiano Mora?
there we go, Meniciano. There, that's his name. Yeah, that was his
It's a
name.
Spanish name.
Yeah. Yeah, that was their captain and very good player as well.
Yeah,
Um,
but don't get your hopes up. It's the Copa del Rey. You guys never win this.
Dang it. Um,
Yeah, Casareño this, Casareño that, whatever, dude. You're not gonna win
well,
it.
the last time we won it was when Ancelotti was our manager, so maybe a repeat, maybe. But we'll see.
I don't know why Junior's talking. His team barely
Oh,
got
shut
through 4-3, dude.
up.
Quickly into the Atletico Madrid
We
2-0,
won, didn't we?
2-0 against Real Oviedo. Atletico Madrid was a really strong 11, which I was really surprised. They had Griezmann out there, Alvaro
I
Morata,
mean, this is all
Ca-
they could hope for, really.
Carrasco, Lemar, Llorente, Witzel was out there. So a really strong 11 for Atletico Madrid. 2-0, pretty much. They had a couple of chances, Real Oviedo, but not really anything too threatening for Atletico Madrid. And um, I think it was Llorente scored the first one, and then William Barrios, who came off as a substitute, scored the second, and just a clean sheet as well, which would be nice for this Atletico Madrid because of their difficulties defending this season. So it was a pretty easy game for them. Um, Junior, to the Barcelona Inter Intercity game.
I mean, one of the toughest team in the round of six, round of 32, if you ask me. No, it's just Barcelona. The same thing we've been talking about, like their forwards not finishing. For I think Ferran Torres had like two, and then Ansu Fati had one. That if he just got into his right foot, but he's so left-footed, and he tried to get it with his left foot. Just those little things that you kind of like, because they were in the lead. I think even in the second half, they were still 2-0, and then slowly but surely, Intercity
No,
kind of tied it.
they went 1-1 and then 2-1 and then 3-2 and then 3-3.
Yeah, whatever it was. Barcelona looks superior, honestly. It's just like I said, like they didn't finish their chances, and I think it's also like now Lewandowski not being in front of the forward line. It's kind of expected. He's really the one that actually puts the ball inside the net most of the time.
Yeah.
Um, Memphis Depay had some shots here and there, but I just not a Barcelona player or not somebody that we like look for in the future having. It was one of the players I enjoyed watching, but it's just this team is not suited for him.
Yeah. Um, I didn't know if you wanted to talk about the Canterano that scored a hat trick against you guys.
Oh, not really, but it was kind of interesting because it's always that thing of how they do is like La Ley del Ex that
Yeah.
they call it. It's like, Kevin De Bruyne always scoring on Chelsea. It's
Yeah.
just like I expected every game. It's like he's probably gonna score somehow. That's why I didn't think they were gonna win the Champions League. I was like, probably Kevin De Bruyne's gonna score and then they win it that way.
Right.
That would be my life. But
Yeah.
thank God he didn't. It's just one of those things that happen. Is like we're really weird when
Yeah.
an ex player kind of scores at you, and it's also as a player you kind of like if you're somebody like said like, oh, we're not interested, you kind of take it as very personal,
Yeah.
like you want to score against
Yeah.
that team.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was in his head, to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
because he was celebrating those goals like he was never a Barcelona ever, like it was
Yeah.
never
It
his
was
childhood
just
dream.
kind of like just showing them like, well, I am good enough. You know what I'm saying? Which is always nice to
Is he
see for.
though?
Well,
Is
I'm
he?
saying it's always nice to see for these players to like actually show out and like perform.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you'd like to see it as just a fan of.
As a neutral.
Yeah, but not also not as a neutral, just of like you like people doing well. I like seeing games that there's not a lot of fouls and there's fair play and the game's going on and nobody's like being like being or harassing the referee for like, hey, why didn't you give me this call?
Yeah.
The game going smoothly. Those are the type of games that I enjoy watching, even if my team were to lose. The better team is the better team,
Yeah.
whatever I may have been.
I
So
So
like what you said about the revenge thing. It always reminds me of the video of Adebayor when he scored on Arsenal and he goes to
so he
celebrate
goes all
over
the way
there.
to yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
mean that's a big move.
the people
First
that
of
are
all,
mad at that are very passionate, but I just see that and I'm like, you get to do that because you scored. Like I'm not mad. It's
Mm.
funny to see because you look back and you're like, oh, how funny that was. But another interesting thing is that Barcelona had like 959 passes,
Yeah, sounds about right.
and Inter City had 288,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was this close of a game.
Yeah. I
That just
think
shows how bad the
Well,
defense has been for
also,
Barcelona.
yeah, like I
I
said
was gonna
again,
say
once again,
one goal was like from a set piece and the other two were just counterattacks, right? If I remember correctly. Well, actually, one of them was if I remember correctly, it was one of them where like they took the ball away and then they passed it forward and then they found I forget the guy's name, but they found him like behind the defense and they was able to score the
His name is Oriol Super Suldevilla
very
Puig.
Barcelona, very Catalonian name.
Sol de Villa. Yeah, there they go. Sol de Villa. That's right.
Puig. Puig. Once you hear Puig, that's, they're from Catalonia.
Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to mention, the defense. Like the defense has been really bad for Barcelona, even though they have one of the few defenses in La Liga that haven't let a lot of goals in, and it's just wild
And
because the defense is really bad.
I was gonna say Kunde and Araujo played, right? If I remember correctly, both of them played.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Kunde was playing as a right back.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, they were playing as a left back, I think. And they
Kunde
had,
was as the left center back, and Alba was the left back.
oh yeah, they put Bellerin on the second time. Yeah, the second half.
Yeah.
No,
But no, they
Bellerin
had
was a
no.
right back.
Yeah, but they had no. The mains was Marcos Alonso. He was the starting right,
Hmm.
and the left back.
No,
The left center back. That's where it was, and it's just
Conde
Marcos.
was on the
Having
left center back.
no, it was Marcos Alonso.
No, Marco Alonso didn't play.
Yeah, he did play. I saw him freaking lose the ball.
Yeah, he did. He
But yeah,
did
he
play.
came in for Ronald Araujo.
Yeah, but that's
Yep.
how the goal was scored. I'm saying, like having him as a center back is terrible idea.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. Like who in their right mind is like, oh yeah, this guy that's not known for defending. Yeah, let me put him in the middle of the defense.
And so
It's
my
just, it's just. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead, finish.
I was gonna say he shouldn't be there.
All right, so my question is, who do you guys see better equipped to win in the competition? I'll go first, and I feel like obviously the obvious answer is I think Atletico Madrid, just because they are afforded to use some of their stronger players in this
Mm.
competition. So that's why I say with Atletico Madrid. But Jordan, I'd like to hear what you gotta say.
Valencia, just because they don't have any other tournament. Maybe Betis could go back to back.
Yeah, Betis still in
Yeah,
it
it's
as
like
well.
the shot.
Junior.
Obviously, I would like to see Barcelona win it. I always want to see Barcelona win domestic titles.
Well, yeah, I know you like to see
So,
it, but I said who you think is better equipped, not who'd you like to see it win the
well,
competition.
if they go into the round of 16, I think I think he'll starting Lewandowski. I don't know why he wouldn't.
Hmm.
I feel like I think the league is very important in Barcelona.
Hmm.
If people forget how much Barcelona is known for winning the league and how difficult it is winning the league. It's 38 games, and then sometimes you go against these lower levels, and they fucking show up on that day, and then they give you a loss. So to me, ideally, what I would want is to win the league. So the Copa del Rey, I could, it'd be sad to let it go, but I feel and what they've shown is a very vulnerable defensively. So I don't think Barcelona would win it, but yeah, like you said, Atletico Madrid, Betis, they're good shout outs. Sevilla maybe as well. They could
Yeah,
just focus on this.
yeah.
Athletic Club, who are very known for winning Copa
The
del Rey,
color, right?
they were very close last season,
Yeah,
so they might could do it this season. So
yeah,
all those, and you can't really base them on right now the round of 32 because, like you said,
yeah.
they're kind of like
There's still
alternating their squad. And once it gets into the nitty gritty, that's when they start putting on their full strength squad. So we'll see then. and we have to mention that Betis hasn't played, Osasuna hasn't played, Athletic Club hasn't played, so all
Yeah,
those teams
yeah,
maybe
they're
could get out, and then that's it for them.
yeah. Um, one of really quickly one of the games that I want to highlight that are coming up at this the Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona game. Very important in the league wise of how how this league could shape up potentially. Um, just quickly, uh, Junior, again, what do you think are going to be the key matchups, key games, key details for the game?
Yeah, I thought you had said Athletic Club.
No, Atletico Madrid. Atletico
Yeah, but
Madrid.
it's Atletico Madrid. Yeah, and it's in the Metropolitano. That's a loss to me, honestly. Anytime I see Barcelona going away anywhere, really. But they, for some odd reason, they're pretty good at when they play away, which is weird.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds me of when Arsenal with Mikel Arteta, we were better away than at home.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that. Yeah, the Metropolitano is always a hard place to go in, especially when
yeah,
the fans
yeah.
get behind it. When they start to get behind the team and the team starts believing, it's very fucking difficult place to
And
play
this
at.
is a team that Atletico Madrid usually give a hard battle. Barcelona, anytime we face Atletico Madrid, it's a really tight game, man. We don't have Messi. Messi usually is the guy that wins us these games, and he's
Yeah,
not gonna be here, obviously.
I was gonna say we all seen that video
Not even
where
as a sub.
we all seen that video where Atletico Madrid are winning and then Messi starts to warm up and everybody's just looking like, damn.
Yeah, like everybody gets quiet.
Yeah. All right, well,
Oh,
off to
is there a different video? Because there's one video where it's Diego Simeone. They just scored and he's like going like, ah, man. Because and Messi's like warming up.
yeah,
Yeah,
Is that different instances, right?
no, that's the
yeah. It's
same
just
video
it's the same. It's the same thing, but it's just like
from different
different things that would
views, different
happen.
views. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, off to the Calcio, the Italian Serie A, the beginning of it, all very exciting. A very tight race over there as well. Salernitana 1, Milan, AC Milan 2. Um, Honestly, this could have been a lot worse for Salernitana if not for Memo Ochoa, their new signing, giving a good display. I think he's going to win the fans over very quickly based on his performance. But yeah, it was a game where Milan started off really, really well, really, really quickly. Were able to transition to attack with Rafael Leao. Um, he had one chance that was made a good save by Ochoa, and then a second one that he was able to skip past them and just put it away. Um, the second goal coming off of Sandro Tonali, just an on the ground shot that Ochoa wasn't able to see on time and react to it, and just a very good shot. Um, then in the second half as well, AC Milan continued to attack, continued to attack. There was a double save by Ochoa that
don't
stopped.
cry.
I'm not crying. That he who I think he saved on Giroud first, and then Revic or Diaz the second, and just able to do a double save. But at the end, Koulibaly getting in the 82nd minute, being able to get off on the header at the end of a header and make the game interesting for the last 8 minutes or so. But just Milan holding off to the win. Um, I'm gonna start with you, Jordan. What do you think of the of Ochoa's performance?
He proves why he's always been called up to Mexico. That's it's crazy that now that many teams have gotten him, but I think it's because the teams that he has gone to, they have struggled. He has made mistakes, and that have cost him.
Yeah,
So I think it's the instance of him getting there's your time to shine in Europe and him not going or not doing what he's expected from him because he does so well with World Cup. So that's why he hasn't been because people are like, oh, why isn't this guy still in America? Because he performs bad in Europe. And
And it's
he did have saves, but they still lost. So I
yeah,
think it's still a bad performance. You still lost, but you did lose against second place. So maybe it might give him the team more confidence in him. But I think the defense needs to stop them from getting that many shots up. I think it was like 10 shots on target.
Junior.
Well, I was gonna say like the highlight and the also that they used to they call them like for the errors is Ochoa. I don't. If you're gonna rush in, I'm hoping that you're gonna get the ball, or you think you're gonna get the ball. I don't know why he would rush when he was obviously didn't have the upper hand in that play. So that mistake, I put it on Memo Ochoa. And the other goal, that was a great goal by Tonali. Like there was a lot of people in the way, so he could have got it any way you could have seen it, and in either corner. I think that would have gone in, like regardless of who would have been in the goalie. So that I think that first goal that goes, that's a Memo Ochoa error. I don't, it's a half and half kind of thing where you know, anything could happen. And like if he would have saved it, that would have been like Memo Ochoa. What a great goalkeeper! If he misses it, then Memo Ochoa, stay on your line type of thing.
Yeah,
So I see it as a mistake, as just what a goalkeeper should do. Like he should have let the defender was like right behind him. It's to me it's better to kind of like make yourself bigger inside the goal and try to like make it so that the other player will like hit it at you. So because the goal is pretty big. Is if they they're getting closer. There's only certain ways that you can hit it. If he's farther, then there's open more open space.
yeah,
So I feel like that. I think that was on Memo Ochoa, but also made a lot of saves. He kept them in the game for a big chunk of the match
yeah,
because it could have been a 5-0 by halftime.
yeah, yeah. Quickly, just to couple of things. Yeah, I feel like where he's shown the best or shown maybe more of his quality was at Ajaccio when he was in League One. But even then, it was kind of tough because, they were a struggling team and he faced a lot of shots. I remember that one performance against PSG. I think that it ended in 1-1, but he had like something like 12 saves, or I think he set a record, right, for like how many saves in a
I think
game.
it was 14. I think yeah.
Yeah, it was like some ridiculous stuff, and some of the saves that he made against PLG were just outrageous. Um, but yeah, and
But
then he went to Malaga, I believe, and he really didn't perform as well. He was kind of like the second goalkeeper because they still had Kamini in there, so he came in to like be like his replacement, but Kamini was still Oshaw just wasn't at his level, and
well,
Kamini.
no, it's just I have to say this, and then I was gonna mention when Jordan was talking about it. The reason why he doesn't do good in Europe is because he was never good at going up for the ball. That was his weak point that they always mention. Like he doesn't know how to go for the ball when it's in the cross or something, and that's big. That's big in Europe, especially when you have tall guys, and that's why in Malaga they didn't work out because they had, a lot of Spanish teams will play that way.
Mhm.
And then in the French league, it's a resource. They try to play some type of attractive football in France, even though some people don't think it's a farmers league. They do try to like play on the ground. Most of the time they don't usually go for that long ball, or they do counter attacking. Every league has counter attacking,
Yeah,
but they're not big on long balls and that type of football. That's why he did really good at there. But once like that's his weak point, crossing. But his strongest is like you said, his reflections are bar none. Like no other goal
Reflexes.
reflexes. Yeah, reflection. He's like,
He's a mirror.
yeah, like ooh.
yeah,
Reflexes. Yeah, sorry. Those reflexes like he has nothing to ask any other goalkeeper, like top goalkeeper in the world. Really, I
yeah,
think he has one of the best reflexes in goalkeeping, just in general. So that's his strong point. That's why he does really good, and that's why like just stay in your line, Memo. If you stay on your line, you have the better chance of making more saves and keeping your team in it.
yeah. And so, my second question for you, Junior, is how do you see Milan for the second half of the season?
We're winning the league. Sandro Tonali scored. He's gonna get the train rolling. And no, I just think they some players have got into the. Brahim Diaz played a really good game. I
Yeah,
was impressed by how good this game and Rafael Lau just picking up where he left off. Again,
yeah,
he's just so fast, and he has that shot that he didn't pull it at this game, but he cuts in and then sends a curler. That's always gonna work.
yeah.
Who?
Leao.
Leao. I think they
Oh,
they like realized that like when he took that shot again in Portugal in the World Cup, like he was already smiling. That like
Yeah, because he knew he was gonna. He's like, yeah, I always make this one. It's like Robin. He's like, I'm
um
gonna make this one, guy.
Jordan,
but
how do you see this Milan team for the second
He
half of the
doesn't
season?
care about this Milan. Give
the
two
Milan,
poops.
Yeah,
I'm looking at their goal difference, and they have 15 goal difference. They have 16 goals against, and looking at the top four, which is Napoli, Milan, Juventus, and Inter, they're second worst in goals against. So I think they have to the defense has to clean that up, especially because it's going to be a tight race with Milan, Juventus, and Inter being like so close together.
yeah.
But
How
nah,
many
maybe
goals in
third,
favor?
31.
And
They're
what?
the
How do they
third.
rank? Third best. That's pretty good to me, honestly. So
Yeah,
make
I
more
was
goals that they make on you.
I was gonna say one of the big reasons is Mike Magnan obviously not being under goal. You know, Mike Magnan is a big reason that
Mm.
we won the league last year. Um, you know, his presence is really felt in this Milan team. I think that's why they're trying to look for a new goalkeeper. They signed one this winter Davis Vasquez, and
Oh yeah. They did. Yeah.
yeah, and they're looking to bring even another one, Sportello, in the summer as well. So they know that they need some reinforcement for being the backup for Mike Magnan. But their next game is against Roma, which is going to be a difficult team to go against Jose Mourinho. Roma winning 1-0 against, if I remember correctly, Spezia, I believe, if I remember correctly.
The mighty Spezia. No, they. Oh, never mind.
Bologna.
Yeah, Bologna. They play
Bologna,
Bologna.
yeah, Bologna, winning 1-0. So they're coming on off a win as well, and it's at Rome, right? They're playing in Rome,
No, it's in San Siro.
San Siro. So um,
That's a win. That's a W.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say Milan, you having a trouble at home recently. Napoli obviously coming in there and
But
winning.
like you said, it's more. It has to do more of the defense, and I do get. Yeah, there's just the defense is kind of sporadic. It's one of those like they'll have a good game or they'll have a bad game, and
Yeah.
I don't think other than what was the name? Trying to
Well,
think.
I was gonna say tomorrow.
Calabria. Other than Calabria, and other been like lacking, and Lucas Hernandez obviously, but that's more in attack than defending.
Yeah.
And Kululu and Tomori have it off and on.
Yeah. Yeah. Tomori obviously falling off a level or two from the level that he showed last year as
And I
well.
think it has to do with not being called up. That's BS, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Call him up.
the next game was Cremonense versus Juventus. Juventus barely getting a win in the last minute. Amazing free kick by Malik, by the way. Getting that 1-0. It honestly could have gone either way. Cremonense had some really good shots that if they were just a little bit more precise with their shooting, they would have been able to get the surprise goal. Um, Early on they had a chance, and I think it was called offside early on. So being able to hold off just a little longer, they would have been able to get a point. But Juventus with a free kick, being able to get that win. Um, I'll go with you first, Junior. Um, do you think Juventus can go on a title push now? They're 7 points off Napoli as of right now.
No, I'm not impressed with the Juventus really. Other than Chiesa, I think Chiesa's a standout player for them. It's very important,
which was
and also
which was good to see him back, and you see how
yeah,
important he is in attack.
yeah. I think like in attack, what's the Croatian? What's his name?
Kostic,
No, the other Croatian. Is he Croatian? No, Serbian. What's his name?
Vlahovic.
Oh yeah, Vlahovic. And yeah, he just hasn't had it. set the league on. He's still kind of struggling in this. I think it's the formation has to do with it, the playing style. I think if they had a different playing style, I think he would flourish better. So it's kind of not on and off. I think he's a really good player. If he was like in a Chelsea, you know, this guy's scoring for sure. I think. If he's in a Milan, he's scoring. But this Juventus side, out of just, there's a lot of missing pieces. I think it's a bit aging as well, isn't it? They
Yeah.
still have. So I think that has to do with that. I just think there's got to be some more players coming in, but I don't think that's gonna happen because of their financial whatever that's going on in Juventus, all the cheating that they do, you know.
Jordan,
So
can this Juventus do a title push?
Yeah, I think so. Because ever since they started with their financial troubles off the field, I know you guys are laughing, but they won
I'm not.
5 of their
I'm
last
not.
games.
I'm not laughing. I'm just smiling because of Junior's reaction. That's all.
They
I'm not.
won 5 of their last games, and they only have 7 goals against. And they have 25 goals in 16 matches. So they play tight games. They squeeze out wins. So I think that's very important for teams, especially when you're going for a championship, to squeeze out wins. It's very important to get those 1-0s, to get those even like those matches where you need to get a point, you need to get the 3 points so that they just proved. And it was a great goal. So I think they've proven that, and I think the Juventus team is only going to get better. I could see them overtake Milan, even possibly challenge Napoli, but I could see them finishing in second, to be honest.
Whoa.
Because I seen how they played Inter, I seen how they played Roma.
Inter
I
beat
think
Napoli. So what are you trying to say?
they're a really good team. Juventus is really, really good. I could see them going again up the top, but I don't know what's gonna go on because of off the field situations.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It might be the second place might win again.
And off to our next game, the Inter versus Napoli. When Inter being able to get the 1-0 win against Napoli and ending their 15-game unbeaten run. Um, yeah, it was just really didn't see much from Napoli, which was really disappointing based on the way that they've been playing in the Champions League and the league, and how they've been playing against these bigger teams like Liverpool, home and away as well. Um, just didn't really offer much. The defense was, I think, the high line of Napoli was a big part of it, and Lukaku and kept finding space behind it and being able to attack that space, and were able to keep getting those passes to get behind the defense, which was causing a lot of problems from Napoli. Um, Very good header from Edin Dzeko. You know, who else but Dzeko to get that header from for Inter. Um, so a very crucial important 3 points for Inter. Um, they set 8 points from Napoli. Um, Junior, I'll go with you first.
You always go with me first.
Did, didn't I go with Jordan last time?
No.
No, you're in junior.
All right, Jordan. I'll go with you first.
Yeah, let him talk about his team.
Inter title.
Tenerazzoli. Tenerazzoli. Who else but Tenerazzoli to do something that Milan couldn't even do?
Are Inter serious
Como
title
second.
contenders now?
To be honest, I think this
They
game,
said 8 points
Napoli
from
had the
Napoli, by the way.
possession of the ball most of this game. They had 64 possession. They were like, but they weren't doing anything. It's the same thing that happened with Spain in the World Cup. They have the possession, but they can't get openings in the defense to attack. They can't get the openings in the box. They can't get the openings in the opposition's field. And I felt that watching this game because there was instances where I'm like, oh, watch out, he's gonna cut, and the defense covered it. I think this World Cup break might have been the worst thing that could happen for Napoli. But I think they have good quality of players that this coach might get them to get back on track. I expected Inter to try to get a draw here because they are very good defensively with Kim and Di Lorenzo and Oliveira. But we ended up getting the sweet goal. The Zeko, the freaking power header, dude. The goalie didn't even know what to do. That's how fast you get that header. And I just love the way that they played, especially playing with DeMarco and Darmian, and then putting in Gosens. I think that was a good idea from Inzaghi. But yeah, just happy to get the win. I kind of wish we wouldn't have gotten the win just to open up the lead a little bit more on Milan because I don't want to see Milan win. But yeah, we did something that Milan couldn't do.
Junior, are Inter serious title contenders now? Ain't
Yeah, I feel like Inter is more of a title contender than Juventus. Like Jordan mentioned, and beating Napoli is no easy feat. But I also have to, I agree. It's because of the World Cup. The Georgia player, what's his name? I don't want to butcher it, but he could obviously there's kind of a little bit of
Tikra, I
that
think.
one. But you can see a little bit of decline on his style of play. I think it affected him like not playing regularly. Also, Osimhen, uh, the Nigerian striker, you could see that there was like Zielinski didn't play well as well. Um, but the guy that
Lobotka
I
as well.
who
Lobotka.
yeah, like all these players, like they were not on the level that they had shown, and you could see by like the stats, it was only 2 shots on target from Napoli. Like when before, like that's what they're known for, getting some attack with their 3 players up front with Politano as well. But Politano didn't, you know. But the highlight for them that I saw that and a player that I would wish that they were in Milan is Di Lorenzo.
Anguissa.
No, Di
Oh,
Lorenzo. I like having Italian players in a lot, so I always look for the Italian players, see how they perform, because you don't want to take some foreign players from from these teams that are challenging. But the Italians, I'm like, oh, we got Chipaka. So Di Lorenzo again, like if they were gone to the World Cup, Italy, he should have been a starter for sure, in
Yeah.
my eyes. So that was really good to see. Other than that, just yeah, like Jordan mentioned, like Napoli did little to nothing with the ball. Really, it seemed like Inter was a better team that
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
and the scoreline showed it.
Yeah. I just feel like the way that
I think Jordan wanted to say something.
Go ahead, Jordan.
no, go ahead. Mine's something that hasn't nothing to do with the game. It's after the game.
Okay. um, I was just gonna say real quickly that I think the way that this Napoli play is it's suited to where like you're in a run of form because it's such high intensity, it's such high line defensively that it's a lot of focus and mentality, and the more you do it, the more you're accustomed to it. And so I think when coming in with the winter break, and the World Cup as well, it would just to be a game that of this magnitude to come back to against Inter and Giuseppe Meazza, it's just a very hard feat. But credit
It's the
to
San Siro.
credit to Inter for being able to beat get Napoli
Yeah, thanks
on
Inter
But
for
for beating Napoli.
now a question a question for you, Junior.
Well, I wanted to hear what Jordan wanted to say about the after
Go
the
ahead.
game.
Yeah, go ahead.
well, and Dumbele came in for I think it was
Who?
Anguissa and
And
Dumbele,
Oh,
And what?
and he like came in and didn't really do anything the whole game. Try to like play the ball in like a weird situation. And after the game, Spalletti went straight to him. He was shaking some players of Inter's hands, and he went straight to him and he was like, "Well, you gotta go like this," giving him instruction. And Dobele was like giving him like a whatever, dude. And I was like, I think that's that's kind of a weird thing to see, especially when a manager is talking to you to react that way. And I was like, I just stood out for me seeing that,
yeah,
which I
Yeah,
thought was really
probably.
weird.
There's always that thing when you're a manager, frustrated when the players don't go and do your like idea of how they want them to perform. When
yeah,
especially when you think like they can perform to a certain level. So I think that was like the manager's point of view, but at the same time as Dombele, he's like, dude, the match already ended. Like, what are you? Weren't you like yelling these things at me like during the game or something? I don't know. I don't know what could have
Yeah,
happened.
I also feel like you could have waited until they were in the locker room, you know, and then maybe like had a more like private conversation instead of trying to
Yeah.
do it out there on the field, you know, where like, you know, you could talk to him or like maybe next time we're in this position, I want you to do this or whatever, you know. But yeah, it an interesting uh kind of tidbit after the post game. Um, but my question for you guys, and I'll go with you first, Junior. Um, because
Sorry.
we've seen this. We've seen from Napoli beforehand with Dries Mertens, you know, and Zinha, where they're really well, and then winter comes and they kind of fall off in the second half of the season. Um, is there anything to be worried for this Napoli team?
Well, yeah, I feel like they were close last time with Saribo, the famous Saribo, and they were just, inch almost touching the trophy, and then they kind of like fell. And it has to do with like their owner. You know, it's I feel like there's a lot of pressure to them and try to make something when you have this magnitude of Maradona doing it with his Napoli. Those 2 years that they won the title, then it's either than that, then you haven't done much in Italian football, really. I think maybe they won a Coppa Italia in
Yeah,
the Maradona years, I think as well. But and then
uh,
oh yeah, they did. Didn't they win it recently?
yeah, they won it against Juventus.
Yeah, so there's that. I mean, like that to me, like should propel me to knowing like that I can actually achieve something. And I think the team is really good to be the winners. But you also gotta do your job. Like if you can't stop doing your job because once you start, like it's like Kobe said, it's like job's not finished. Like we're top of the league, but job's not finished until you have that trophy in your hands.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's gonna mentality wise, are they think that could be there? No, there's a lot of different players in this team, new players that have that weren't there when they won the that Copa.
Yeah, and
Junior, for
Yes,
people that from around the world, tell them who Kobe is.
Kobe Bryant. He was born in Milan, Italy.
Okay. What did he do professionally?
He played basketball. He's known for having a really strong mentality and
a winning mentality.
yeah, winning mentality. Well,
What
yeah,
did he
if you have a
trademark
mentality,
trademark it?
huh?
This winning mentality. What did he trademark it?
A Black Mamba. He was trying to teach it to Kanye West. I don't know if you've seen the commercial. He didn't get it.
Um, yeah, Jordan, should Napoli be worried?
Yeah. I just that performance really shocked me, especially because they were doing so good, like you said, in the Champions League. I think he needs to really get on this team because they do have a great chance of winning in the league and also winning in the Champions League
Yeah, they're still in the
because they are
Champions League
playing
competition as well.
the best.
Yeah,
Well, I think they were playing the best out of all the Champions League teams. I think they were top of the line.
yeah,
Well, we didn't start the podcast during the Champions League, but just know I was getting most of the things right.
yeah. The what's it called? Yeah, Milan still in it as well. They'll be facing Tottenham in the round of 16. Um, Napoli still in it as well. So we'll see how this affects their league um, pursuit. You know, um, Inter's still in it as well, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Inter's still in it as well. So um, Juventus is the one the one that is not in it. So we'll see how that affects their actual pursuit for the league as well. Um, all right, that concludes our episode for today. Um, Junior, do you have anything else to say before we send off?
No, I hope Chelsea beats Manchester City. I hope Barcelona wins at the Metropolitano. I hope my teams win the league, all of them. And I do a clean sweep finally, including Cruz Azul.
Okay, Jordan, anything you want to say?
That just like things are getting better in the world day by day.
I
Okay,
agree.
I like that message. Still a lot more to football to play. A lot more football.
And the Champions League coming back on February, right?
February, yeah, Champions League coming back February. I still think we're still not even halfway through some of the leagues. Barely getting to the halfway point. So,
Yeah.
a lot of games are gonna be cramped up. A lot of football. Um, Good
Well,
for
Barcelona
us.
played. Uh,
Sunday, they
It's
play
on
Sunday.
Thursday,
no, I
right?
mean Chelsea. They play this week,
Thursday
tomorrow, and then
tomorrow.
Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
So still a lot of football to be cramped up.
Are you guys gonna bet on that game?
no, because I don't. I'm not confident. This is not a final. If it was like a final, then I bet. It's just a league game.
Yeah, it's I think we on.
We're 10th. And not top of the top of the table with Chelsea.
Yeah, what's it called? Yeah, Champions League coming back as well, which is always exciting. Europa League as well. Um, so and the Copa del Rey games are coming up as well. So
Okay, dude.
and
And the fucking
and
episode.
and 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 and
And
and
the
and,
Copa Italia.
and no, and the Supercopa where Real Madrid are gonna face Valencia. So that's gonna be an interesting one.
And Coupe de League. Right.
I don't care about the Coupe de League. Although the French football
Well,
is
those are the
getting
nicest trophies.
the French football is
Wait,
getting.
isn't Real Betis playing Barcelona?
Yeah, Betis are playing Barcelona, and then no, isn't it At- Athletic Atletico Madrid? Isn't it
Check, because I thought it was
What?
Barcelona.
What are you talking about?
the Supercopa?
Oh, Super Cup. Boy, it was Betis and Real Madrid, right? Didn't Real Madrid win it? The league?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
Betis.
It's Real Betis versus Barcelona and Valencia against Real Madrid.
Remember they played
Oh yeah.
semifinals and then to the
Oh yeah,
finals?
they doing that dumb thing. Yeah, I forgot.
Because I was playing career
But
mode and I played against Real Madrid and I beat them. And then I played Betis in the final. They beat Barcelona.
I was gonna say though, didn't it wasn't Athletic Bilbao in the final against Real Madrid? Why are Barcelona playing it?
Well, Atletico were in the final against Real Betis.
No, Valencia were in the final against Real
We were
Betis.
in the finals in the Copa del Rey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was Athletic
the
Bilbao
super
against Real
this
Betis.
the Supercopa
Oh,
was
that
a
was 2 years ago.
yeah the Supercopa was Athletic Bilbao versus Real Madrid for the Supercopa de España last year. That's why. I don't know
But
this Supercopa.
it's just no, but isn't it like the first and second of La Liga, and then
The
the
Super
the
Copa final.
winners? No, the
No, the Copa
Copa
del
del
Rey.
Rey winner and
Copa del
semifinals,
Rey
or
finals.
or runner up. Isn't that
I
what it is?
it might be. I don't know. I have
I
to
think
look.
it is.
I have to look it
Yeah,
up.
that's what.
Because that's the only thing that makes sense. Because Barcelona didn't do shit.
But yeah,
We have the most Copa del Reys.
those games are gonna be interesting.
Oh.
Jordan, I'll bet you in that game. I'll bet you in that.
I don't bet semifinals.
All right, from Junior, Jordan, and me. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you get notified of when we do when we post our next episodes. Um, are we gonna be doing any live streams soon?
I mean, unless people want it. Oh, you guys
Hey,
have to do a
Maybe
live
they-
stream. You guys have to do a live stream for the Cruz Azul game, after and before.
No, we're not.
Not a live stream, but a quick, video before the game, and then we'll add it to whatever podcast whenever it comes up.
yeah,
Just to show you,
I can record and and
a
do
little
like
bit. I mean, I don't,
I can do like
don't show me everything.
a
Don't
match
show me
day
Mercado
vlog.
Caliente. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I'm definitely would be down to
That'd
do
be
that.
nice. I mean, I would want to watch it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. All right.
We could just do that in private and send it to you.
Let's show it to the world.
Thank you guys for watching,
I
and
want to comment.
until next time.